it's Kris.
And I'm Wyatt Elliott from Notebook Entertainment.
And you're watching Horrorland News. Alright, so we'll start out with our normal first segment, the TV Roundup. And Chucky was fantastic again this week, you guys.
Oh my god, yes. This show, I don't
How does it keep getting better?
Can we just make a plea to the Emmy nomination people right now, to the Academy, that they don't leave these kids out of the show?
Yes, it's horror, but oh my god, is it fantastic.
Forget that it's horror, guys. You can nominate American Horror Story, you can nominate Chucky. Forget that it's on Sci-Fi. Who cares that they
It's amazing.
Hold on, I just drooled over myself. Who cares that they did Sharknado? Like, this is a good...
Also amazing, but for different reasons.
Different reasons. This is a good show.
Yes. Oh my god. And like he said, the kids, they are so talented. And yes, I don't like Lexi. But
they're making us like her
a little bit. But oh my god, she is just such a good actress. Like, because you follow this journey of, I want this girl to die. Like, Chucky killed this girl. To now you're like, okay, well,
I gotta say,
I sort of forgive her. Like,
I gotta say, and this is not our review or our spoiler or anything, but I want to, these kids, as characters in this show, are gonna be so fucked up going forward.
They all need therapy. So much therapy.
I want to see season 2 just to see where these kids are not serial killers.
Right. They're all gonna be locked up in an insane asylum. Like, they're going to need years of therapy, these characters.
Good job, Chucky. Good job.
And Jennifer Tilly and Fiona Dorff kill it.
She plays her dad now in the broad daylight. Yeah. And it's still convincing.
Yep. And they do quick shots and angles, and they kind of hide her lower face sometimes, because it is, from here up, I mean, she looks just like him.
They aren't dumb, but they pulled it off.
They pulled it off well.
I didn't think they were going to do it. I saw her in the broad daylight. I'm like, oh, they're keeping it at a wide shot for a reason.
No,
going right to it.
Yep.
And I was like, oh.
She and Jennifer Tilly are killing it. I am so in love with Jennifer Tilly.
I'm starting to like the girl that's playing the young Jennifer Tilly, too. I think it's because
she's doing good.
I think it's because it's her Jennifer Tilly's voice.
Yeah, it is.
That is making it better, but...
Which, that's what they do to make it more believable. They do have Brad Dourif and Jennifer Tilly doing the voices for their younger selves, even though it's different actors.
It's still brilliant. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's seamless. You don't notice it. So, no. It's just great. The story's getting even more deeper.
These kids, man. These kids. Like, what happens to Junior is so... Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah, there's a big event death that happens in this, and the way that it happens, and Junior's
in the most extraordinary, fantastically fucked up way that you could ever imagine.
Right.
Like, forget every horror movie you've ever seen. Like, what kind of trauma could we put upon this 15, 14-year-old boy? Well,
holy shit.
This scene makes your jaw hit. Because it's kind of coming, but when it happens and the way it happens...
You don't expect what happens after the kill that you're expecting. No. How it ends, you don't expect that.
No, because they build up to it. They show Chucky, he's pushing a cart along and everything. Right. You know what's going to happen. He's right behind her. And then what happens to Devin at the end? Like, these kids... I know they're fictional characters, okay? But I'm invested.
Right.
I am fully invested.
You do. They make you care about these kids, and then you watch how their lives are just being fucked up.
Oh, and Alex Vincent is back.
And Christina Elise.
Right. They play, like, they're, like, going around killing the different Chucky dolls.
Fantastic. They pretend to be like census takers to get into one of the houses where a Chucky doll's living.
And it's like Pulp Fiction. They both pull their guns out and they just start blasting this
Talking
doll.
About people. And they do afterwards, because they do blast this doll in front of this little like 7-year-old girl. And as they're driving away afterwards, they're like, she's going to need so much therapy. Like, we just did a bad thing.
Maybe that's the whole theme of this show. Is this going to be how many kids can we traumatize? But it's so good. And it's cool just to see them back again. Yep. You know, like,
and they're Andi and Kyle again.
It's the real actors from the only time Andi was part 3, and that's why I don't like part 3. Yeah. So, But
there's a lot of reasons to not like part 3.
That's true. But they reference part 3. They talk about his military background.
And we were even talking, because they do previously on, before each episode starts. And they talk about not only previously on the show, but they talk about previously in the movies, so that you know what part of the movie is going to be referenced in the show.
Yep. If it's connected, it shows it. And like...
Because, this last one, they showed how at the end of Seed... Tiffany took over Jennifer Tilly's body.
Yep. So, and they're always showing clips from Cult and everything as well. So, like, it's fantastic. Yep. Like, I'm so glad that they're able to do this. They have all the rights they need.
They have Don Mancini attached.
Don Mancini. Like, good job,
guys.
Good job. Don Mancini.
And from that, we go to Day of the Dead.
Not as good.
The only reason, I'm going to tell you right now, the only reason I'm still watching this show is because of that doctor character and his group.
His horrible family.
His whole group feels to me like they understand the assignment. Like they're, the way they act, everything about it, they understand the camp of what they're doing, whereas everyone else just annoys the fuck out of me.
Yeah, I don't think they got... She even said, are there different directors directing each segment?
Right.
But it doesn't say that there is.
And it doesn't seem like there is. The only thing is that I feel like this group of people, the doctor, his fiance, her horrible family, and the main girl that got bitten that drives the hearse.
Yeah.
I feel like they all understand that they are part of camp, that they are part of something ridiculous, and that, you know, they're selling it.
They are.
Whereas everyone else in the show, I don't know if they're either trying to play it too straight or too funny, or they don't have a balance. It doesn't land. There's no balance.
No. And like, especially, we talked about this before, the guy who plays the husband to the mayor, he's dumb, but he's also just not good at it.
No, he's not good at playing dumb.
He just doesn't land his jokes. And then in this scene, in this episode, he tries to be ultra sympathetic, emotional with his son, and have this bonding, and it's just, I don't know.
It makes you feel like, dude, you're a weenie. Like you don't feel bad for him because he's trying to have a moment with his son or whatever, but he's crying and stuff. And normally, like, yes, men should be able to express their emotions and cry and stuff, but like, the whole time you're just thinking, dude, you're a weenie. Like
it's not what's being said, it's how it's being said, how it's being delivered. And I just don't know if this guy is just not. I don't think he's a bad actor. I think
he doesn't understand camp.
No, I don't think he's in the right role, and I think that's a huge problem. But I wish the show was just about the wedding.
Right. I wish it was just those characters.
Yeah, like a zombie, and and how they survive and go about it. Maybe that's what they should have done. But
we have mentioned before how each episode does have Easter eggs to other the movies and stuff. And so finally we've gotten our Dawn of the Dead moment.
They did it.
Because instead of a mall, which, let's face it, malls are kind of dying, they go to a superstore, like a department store, right? Yeah. And that's where they're going to set up and everything.
It gives you the feel of Dawn
very
of the Dead,
much gives you the
like, they know what they're doing, you know? Like, so... And she caught it. I was just watching along, and then she caught it.
I was like, oh, they're doing Dawn of the Dead now.
And I'm like, yes, we were right. I just want to be right.
Right.
So yeah, it's fun. I mean, I'm enjoying it.
I'm enjoying parts of it.
Yeah. I wish I enjoyed it better when we were able to binge through it. So.
Yeah, now we're back to week, and it's... All right, so let's get to the news, and big news broke on Twitter, and people were not so thrilled with it, was we all know they announced they're doing a American remake of Train to Busan, and they've announced that it will be called Last Train to New York.
Fine.
We don't need this.
No.
We don't need this, guys.
I don't see anybody that this movie is for.
No. It's for people who don't like to read subtitles. That's what it is.
But, okay. Does anyone remember in 2013, Spike Lee made a remake of Oldboy? And I was very, very like, wait, what?
Spike Lee did what now?
With Josh Brolin.
Which that part doesn't bother me.
No, I like Josh Brolin, so I went and saw it.
I like Spike Lee too, but you don't think horror when you think Spike Lee.
And I went and saw it, and it's they did the steps. Okay, here's the plot points, but it had none of the emotion or it was charm. Horribleness, because Oldboy is a horrible movie.
It is.
It's a great movie. No, it's a great movie, but it's a horrible.
Great movie.
And I fear that that's what this is going to be, because we've already went through the emotional ride and everything with Train to Busan.
They're not going to improve this. They're not going to improve on it.
What's your idea? You know, it's in New York now, so is it a relatability thing? Can people just not relate to Korean movies?
It's now, I don't see how, with Squid Game blowing up the way that it did, like, I don't see how people can't just be like, okay, well, this is not white people, and they're speaking another language. No, I can still enjoy this.
I also don't understand remaking Parasite. They're talking about remaking Parasite.
Please don't.
Like, what's wrong with just watching Parasite? If you don't want to read it, fine. Just watch the dubs then.
You're not getting an Oscar. Like, just because Parasite, got all the awards and shit and nominations, you're not going to.
Like, I suppose, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. It's just a waste. I can't really defend this movie.
And I'm not going to support it. I refuse. Like, I won't refuse because we'll probably have to go see it for this.
But it's going to be a fun review.
Right. I'm not holding back.
No.
I will be honest.
It's just, I think remakes, reboots, anything you want to do like that should have a purpose, should have a new idea.
You must have an idea.
I just don't think what they're even saying here, well, of course it's not Busan, so they got to change it to
New York.
Oh. Okay. Well, they're,
And they have to pick New York because America has horrible train infrastructure. So it's not like,
it's not the same thing.
And it's not the same thing because in South Korea, they have trains everywhere. Like, you can literally go anywhere on trains. Whereas in America, like, you're screwed. Like,
is it going to be a subway?
It's not the same cultural movie. It's not the same anything.
No, I don't. I don't know why they're doing this. I feel like this is going to be a future movie on her show, Thanks We Hate It.
Oh, it is.
Because
Remakes.
It's not fair.
In fact, I'm going to wait until this movie comes out to do the episode on worst remakes so that we can include this movie there. That's what's going to happen. Because that's how sure I am that this is going to suck balls.
And then it's going to turn out it's awesome.
It's really not.
I do want to use this as a segment, as a segue, not a segment. So I want to bring this up because I know you'll have something to say about it, and I want to give you the opportunity to say something about it, and I think it's interesting. So Devon Sawa did an interview, probably because he's on Chucky, doing a great job, and he said that because of the success of Halloween Kills and Halloween 2018, that he feels, and I do not think he's wrong, that this is an opportunity to reboot Final Destination if you keep the first movie and erase all the sequels.
Do it.
And Devon Sawa was like, I'm in. I'll be back.
Fucking do
This is a great idea.
But, okay, so are they going to keep the original ending where Kerr Smith dies too?
I mean, I think
in Paris?
I think they would
And then that would leave only Alex and Clear alive.
Right. But then it could come back 20 years later, and
so we see that for 20 years they've been running from death,
or they actually beat it. Maybe they actually beat death.
No, that's the whole point of the movie is that you don't beat death. That's why Kerr Smith dies at the end.
Well, I know, but maybe.
And that's why the fifth one ties all the way back to the plane crash of the first one.
Yeah.
There's no escaping death. The reason Devon Sawa, according to the series, and again, if they erase it all, this changes, but according to the series as it stands, in the fifth one, the reason Devon Sawa and all of them got hooked into this death thing is because the characters from the fifth one, who were secretly a prequel, got onto this plane that these kids were all on, and then he got the premonitions and continued it on, and those characters finally died in the plane crash. So, and then he starts, the series over again. So really, 5 leads right back into 1 again and makes it a whole circle.
Right.
But that's the whole premise of the series is you can't escape. There's no beating death. That's the whole premise of the series. So what it would have to be is if you forget all the previous movies and you're talking about it's been 20 years since the first movie, then what they need to do is they need to show how Claire and Alex have avoided death for 20 years.
Okay. She knows the series way better than I do. I know the first movie, but then I forget.
No, I know every movie.
Okay. So
Devon Sawa, let me tell you, I've been obsessed with Devon Sawa since Casper. I was the right age for that. I remember being in the theater as a child watching that movie, and when Casper came on as the real boy, there were gasps from all the other little girls in the theater going, who is this beautiful boy? Oh my, and then he's like, can I keep you? And I was like, I think I just went through puberty. And then you see him in Now and Then, and you get to see his butt, and you're like, yes! And then you hate hate Christina Ricci because that's the second movie she's gotten to kiss him in. And you're like, die, bitch. Although I love Christina Ricci, so.
Yeah, well.
And then Wild America, and then Idle Hands, and Final Destination. I will watch anything that Devon Sawa does. Let me tell you that right now.
That's why we're going to go see a movie called Black Friday.
For fucking sure.
And we're going to review that.
I'm going to watch the hell out of that movie.
And I want to see that because it just looks awesome, and I love retail-related stuff.
And I'll watch anything with Devon Sawa in it.
Yeah. So
I watched The Fanatic,
like, horror movie about
or
Black
The Fan,
Friday?
or what was it? Was it Fanatic or The Fan?
Fanatic.
That's why I watched it. It wasn't a good movie, but I watched it because Devon Sawa was in it.
It's a great bad movie though.
Yeah, it's a fun bad movie.
It's so Why? What is this?
Like, what am I watching?
Like, I watched it because.
What are you doing, John Travolta? Like,
yeah, I watched it because of what I heard about it, and then I watched it because Fred Durst directed it. So
well, that was another reason to watch it. But all right, so our next story. We have a horror comedy series from Starz coming. It's called Shining Veil, and it's starring Courtney Cox.
Oh,
yeah. It's a horror comedy series, so it's meant to be funny as well as have the horror elements. And it's also stars Greg Kinnear, Mira Sorvino, and Judith Light.
Mira Sorvino's back.
Yes.
That's good. Nice. Good to hear.
Because fuck you, Harvey Weinstein. That's why.
That's right.
Courtney and Greg are playing a married couple with 2 teenage sons, and they move from another city to this small town or whatever and buy this house. And they do this because they're trying to save their marriage because Courtney Cox's character, Pat, has had an affair. So they're trying to save their marriage by going to this house. Turns out this house has had, like, people be killed in it and all kinds of other stuff, and it's super haunted.
That's cool.
Yeah. So Mira Sorvino's character is Rosemary, and she is either Pat's alter ego, a split personality, her id, her muse, or a demon trying to possess her. So Pat's character isn't sure what Rosemary is. So I'm down. Sounds fun.
Sounds interesting.
Sounds fun.
Right.
All right. So our final story is actually pretty interesting because I like to cook, but it's a horror-themed cookbook called Horror Caviar.
Ooh.
It's got creepy recipes for both food and drinks, as well as essays about the influence of food on the horror genre.
Very cool.
Yeah, it sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
Some of the movies used for inspiration for recipes are Audition, Suspiria,
Oh God.
Possession, Midsummer. Wait a minute. I know what they put in stuff in Midsummer. Wait a minute. The Shining and The Witch. Now, Midsummer, isn't that the movie where she put her period blood or something in, like...
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you.
I'm just glad The Help isn't on there, but...
I mean, again... Period blood, like...
Yeah, no, I'm not sure that's better.
The cookbook's now available on A24's online shop. I'm not sure what A24 is.
Oh, it's A24 sponsored. Yeah. That's the studio that made The Witch.
Okay.
And Midsummer and stuff.
Okay, well, that makes sense then.
That makes a lot more sense.
That makes a lot more sense.
Now I understand the choice of movies.
Right. So it's available. It's available now. So if you want to get it for someone for Christmas or whatever's coming up, someone in your family who likes horror and cooking, we exist. Yep. And again, I would be interested about the essays about the influence of food on the horror genre, because that's not something I think about. Like, no, I don't think I've ever thought about food influence on horror. So I would be interested to read those essays, actually. Hocus Pocus has been filming. Hocus Pocus 2. I'm super excited. I grew up with the first one. I'm super nostalgic for it. Watch it every year on Halloween. It's a great movie. Yeah, they released an image. Yep, the photo looks great. They released a couple behind the scenes photos. I think this photo that we're showing is I think Bette Midler released that on her Instagram. Nice. So it's coming 2022 to Disney Plus. And it takes place 29 years after the original. Imagine that. And this time it's 3 girls, Becca, Cassie, and Izzy. It's my cat's name. My cat's name is Izzy. It is, yeah. Accidentally wake up to the witches and must figure out how to stop them from wreaking a new kind of havoc on the world. Ooh. So are they not eating kids anymore? Like, because when you really think about it, it's a kids movie, but when you really think about it, like, it's dark. We get to watch them actually kill Zachary Binks' sister. Like, it's a dark movie.
But kids movies used to be dark.
Right, The Witcher in the Woods. If you have not seen that, watch Witcher in the Woods. I don't know what Disney was doing.
Watch any kids movie from the 1980s.
It was fine in the 80s. Like I said, Witcher in the Woods is a Disney movie.
True, yeah. I've not seen
or
that
Watcher
one,
in the Woods, I mean. Not Witcher. Watcher in the Woods.
Witcher in the Woods. That's with Henry Cavill.
Toss a coin to a Witcher.
That's awesome.
I kind of hope that it does stay the same tone, like that funny but still sort of dark when you really think about it tone.
Yeah, it's hard when it's so many years later.
Yeah.
It's hard. I think one of the reasons why it is because movies are different in the timelines they're made in, you know?
And even the way society is different.
Exactly.
It's way different now than it was in the 90s. So,
yeah, so the
but
tone
the
is
three girls look great. The three ladies, they all look fantastic.
They really do.
So
they really do.
I'm very excited about this.
I mean, they haven't been eating children for 29 years, so they
that
would
you
age,
know
right?
That you know. So yeah, we'll keep you updated. I'm sure that there's going to be a ton more stuff leaked from Disney and all that stuff. So we'll keep you updated because it's a story I'm interested in. So
Absolutely.
All right, so that ends the news segment. Let's get to our indie film spotlight.
My advice to young filmmakers, make a movie every week. Make films, no matter what anybody says, and you'll be a filmmaker.
I didn't intend it, but I kind of have a theme this week.
She intended it.
I didn't. But it's basically new technology using old horror tropes. And the two that I found, I think really do it well. One better than the other. But I really like people embracing this new technology that is kind of scary, and like Black Mirror has warned us about a lot of it.
And you also, when you showed them to me, you made a point too, and you said that technology has ruined a lot of the horror tropes,
because you got to figure out how to get the cell phones out so they can't call for help.
The GPS.
The GPS, all that. So yeah, it does make writing a horror film a little harder because now you got to think of ways to make it so that they are completely cut off.
Right.
Like you got to destroy cell towers and shit.
Yeah.
So, I do like the embrace of technology. And again, using old horror tropes, using there's someone stalking you, there's something in the shadows, there's a voice, there's, only instead of it being a ghost or maybe just it only being a ghost, it's a ghost working through technology or it's some kind of force working through the technology. So I do like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
And there was a big budget movie called Pulse that starred Kristen Bell that I thought, I liked that movie. I understand it's kind of slow moving and I see why a lot of people don't like it. But I really like it. She's a girl and her boyfriend gets murdered or whatever, and it turns out that people are haunting like through the internet and like haunting people and making them so they like kill themselves or something. It's been a few years since I've seen it. I own it, so we should watch it. But
you should, yeah. I've heard of it. I have heard of it.
I saw it because I like Kristen Bell, but I did wind up liking the movie. It, like I said, it does drag a little bit, but the idea that the movie has is great. And same with a movie called Stay Alive. Stay
Alive is good.
And it takes them and it kind of makes a video game come to life and kill people.
I've always thought that was a good premise.
Right.
And I think that they did it pretty good for its time. I think an even more modern remake or
it would
sequel
be even better.
Be cool.
Even
because
better.
this was made like in the early 2000s, I think.
Yeah.
So think about what they could do now.
Yeah, and Stay Alive has become kind of a cult classic.
I've heard a lot of people talking about it now.
So if you haven't seen either Pulse or Stay Alive, I do recommend them. They're good watches.
Yeah.
But the indie films that have taken it to this new step, the first one's called OK Google. It's from 2019, and it's on the Levi Morgan YouTube channel. It was written and directed by Levi Morgan and starring Calvin Young. And this one is really, it had me hanging on there. It is very simple premise.
Yes.
But very well used.
Right, and it's only like 4 minutes.
Yeah,
so
both of these are like 4 minutes.
They are, but they don't take up much of your time, but I like the atmosphere they create, because there is something creepy. Maybe it's my generation thing, but there is something creepy about talking to an inanimate object.
Yeah, I don't let those in my house. Okay, Google's not in my house.
And it does stuff for you. So I think the fact... Yeah, good. I think it is a good idea for horror.
Yeah, Siri and Alexa can fuck off. They're never coming into my house. No thank you. Very simple premise. A guy is in his home alone. He tells OK Google to, shut off the TV or whatever. And she does. And then all of a sudden he's walking away and you hear OK Google say, okay, turn off upstairs light or turn on upstairs light.
I think, yeah.
And so he's like, what? And he looks up there and there's nothing. And so he says, okay, Google, turn off the light. And she's like, turning off light. And right before it turns off, you see something. And so it carries on through the rest of the short. And like I said, it is very simple premise, but it does. It uses old horror tropes very well with this new technology.
Yeah. I went and checked out some of his other videos as well on his channel. He's got all kinds of 4 or 5 minute short horror movies. And they're all very clever. Like, I watched maybe 2 or 3 of them, but they weren't in the same theme to share with this today. So, but check out his channel for sure.
For sure,
he's got some creative ideas. And then the other one, which I liked.
Yeah, I really like this one.
Now that we I'm not saying the one's bad, but
no,
I like
it's
this
not
one
bad. It's
better.
good. I just like this one better.
This is about a Snapchat filter.
Yeah, it's called Fear Filter, a Snapchat horror story, and it's on the it's on the Tracy Kleeman YouTube channel. And it's put out by Lucky Cat Productions, which might be Tracy's production company.
I would assume so.
Because it says it's written and directed by Tracy Kleeman, and it's starring Lulu Saffron, which this girl did great.
She did great. She looks like she's like 13 or something, but she did really great. But I just love the idea of the filter, and she's taking pictures of herself and making the dog face, and she's sticking her tongue out. But then it tags somebody behind her. And
somebody else has the bunny ears and stuff.
And like that's a good idea.
Yep.
That's creepy because it does do that. I know from I had a camera once that it would detect faces and it would be able to pick people out. Not always accurately. And I remember one time it picked out the LG logo as a face, So it does. It's still a computer thing. So
I can see how it would confuse the LG logo for a face, though.
It is supposed to be a face. It's a winky eye. I think it's creepy that it's recognizing a ghost or somebody in her house or something.
Because we never see it. Like, it is invisible, so we never actually see it.
Exactly.
And so that, again, I think it lends to your imagination, because now you can imagine what this thing is.
Yep.
And she did so great acting against nothing.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing is I think that this one also, like the last one, it was more atmosphere only. Yeah. This one actually had some true scares in it. Like I'm gonna admit, I jumped in the first time it popped like that. I jumped.
Oh yeah, when she is because at the beginning it's just her and she's doing the puppy face and where you open your mouth and the tongue comes out, and so she's doing that and playing with it, and then all of a sudden it goes rah, and you're like,
I just didn't expect that. I was like, oh. Okay.
So, yeah.
And then the ending, I think, is great. Yep. And I won't ruin it because, guys, it's 4 minutes. Just watch it.
It's 4 minutes. But you can watch it.
Yeah, it's a trope that I do truly find horrifying in movies, So, I think that's great.
Yep. So, again, she's they've got a lot of things on their channel. I don't want to say she because Tracy could be a boy's name.
Yeah.
So, they have a lot of stuff on their YouTube channel. Check it out. Like the channel. It really helps.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, neither one of these people have a ton of subscribers. They have lots of views on their videos,
but
which
they don't
I think
have
is
subscribers.
Cool. But they don't have the subscribers, and they are putting out content. So, guys, check it out. And if you like it, subscribe. Come on. All right.
So, yeah, again, we don't like to spoil indie films, so we're not going to tell you the endings. Go watch them. We want you to watch these indie films, support them. Always support indie film.
Yeah, that's how you help
That's where new ideas are coming from.
Exactly. That's how you help them. You just watch them.
Yep.
Just watch their movies.
That's all you got to do.
Watch our movies. All right. So on that note, and also speaking of subscribing, please like and subscribe on this channel. You know where the button is at. It helps the algorithm god. So thank you guys for watching. We do appreciate it. We love horror.
Yep. Have a good night and good fight.
Bye.
Jump back. Twist the bones and bend the back. Here to take up a American mystic. We shall be back.
Hocus Pocus.
Into the night.
They love to fly. And it shows.
Good night. Sleep tight. No screaming.